The jungle on Viral 9 didn't just breathe, it watched. Dense with sulfuric mist and cloaked in vibrant alien flora, the planet was one of the Galactic Coalition's deadliest Class 5 red zones. Every movement could awaken a predator. Every sound could be the last. No one was ever stationed here. No one was ever meant to return, which made it the perfect place to send Private First Class Mia Reyes. "You want to repeat that, sir?" she asked, stiffening in her combat uniform, standard issue but already half torn from prior skirmishes. Commander Brill, a four-armed Kadrathi officer, barely looked up from his hollow table. "You're being reassigned. Expeditionary support, Viral 9. 1 week solo survival protocol." "That's a death sentence," she snapped before remembering where she stood. Brill finally met her eyes. "Then die quietly." The shuttle dropped her in a clearing at dawn. No escort, no extraction plan. Just a damp backpack, a faulty locator beacon, and a sarcastic AI drone named Skeet. The Coalition had called it a reassignment. Mia called it abandonment. Within hours, she had already dodged a poison-spitting vine, outrun something with 6 legs and no eyes, and was now fending off alien mosquitoes the size of her thumb. "Day 1 journal log," she muttered, holding up the recorder. "Still alive. Mostly because of spite. Also, everything here wants to kill me." Skeet's voice chirped from her shoulder unit. "Correction. Statistically, only 94% of known species here are hostile." She slapped a bug off her arm. "Thanks, that's comforting." Night fell like a curtain, a sudden drop in light and a rise in sound. The alien jungle pulsed with predatory growls and rustling brush. Mia lit a low-heat fire beneath a tree with knife-edged leaves. She didn't sleep. She didn't dare. But it was on the second night she first saw it. The Alpha. A silhouette in the dark, the size of a hoverbike, eyes glowing faint silver, breath steaming like fog. It didn't growl. Didn't move. Just watched. Skeet stuttered in her ear, heat signature confirmed. Quadruped. Unknown species. High probability. Apex-level predator. "Yeah, no kidding," she whispered. It turned and vanished back into the trees. By day 4, Mia had stopped using the beacon. She realized no one was coming. This wasn't a mission. This was exile. Still, she pushed forward, cutting paths through overgrown thorns, boiling stream water, rigging traps to catch alien rodents for protein. She began learning the jungle's rhythm. She also began seeing the Alpha again. It didn't attack. It just followed, always 20 meters back, watching, matching her pace. One afternoon, she doubled back suddenly. The Alpha froze in place. "You stalking me or something?" she called. It blinked, then slowly sat on its haunches. Waiting. Creepy. But points for consistency. That night, it lay outside her camp. Not close enough to share warmth, but not far enough to be coincidence. By day 7, Mia was nearly out of ration cubes. Her leg was cut open from a thornbush vine, and she was running a fever. She collapsed in a moss bed and stared at the jungle canopy. "You win, Viral. You win," she groaned. Moments later, she felt warmth at her feet. The Alpha. It lay beside her, curling its enormous, fur-spined body near her legs. Not touching, but guarding. Skeet stammered. "This is unprecedented. Alpha-class predators do not exhibit protective behavior towards sentient bipeds." Mia was too weak to reply. She blacked out. She awoke to gentle pressure on her leg. The Alpha was licking her wound. "Oh, gross," she rasped. "That better not be some weird carnivore marinade." Skeet scanned it. Saliva contains antibacterial enzymes. Wound shows signs of improved coagulation. "So now he's a nurse too," she muttered. The Alpha growled low, not threatening, but as if in protest. All right. Sorry. Thank you. I guess." She reached out slowly. It allowed her hand to rest on its shoulder. Muscle like steel beneath fur that shimmered in the early sunlight. The next day she walked. Limping, yes, but upright. The Alpha walked beside her. When a 6-legged carnivore ambushed her from above, the Alpha struck first, ripping the creature off her and flinging it into a tree with a single toss of its maw. "Holy hell," she gasped. "You're a one-beast security detail." Skeet added, "I suggest naming the creature. Neural bonding is known to improve interspecies alliance." She squinted up at it. "All right then. You want a name? How about Shadow?" The Alpha grunted. "Shadow it is." By day 10, they were inseparable. Shadow hunted for her, brought her water-rich fruits. watched her back as she slept. She taught him words, or tried to. He responded to tone, to gestures, to her. One night, she sat by the fire and looked into his eyes. They threw me away. Left me to die here. And you were supposed to be the monster. Shadow leaned against her gently. Guess we're both misfits, huh? He let out a low, contented growl. And for the first time since landing, Mia Reyes laughed. Even in the deadliest jungle in the galaxy, she no longer felt alone. 3 days later, the sky broke open. Rain on Viral. 9 wasn't just wet, it was corrosive. Acidic enough to melt through tent fabric and strip the bark off trees. Mia knew the storm was coming from the way Shadow had begun pacing. Ears twitching, muscles taut. Skeet confirmed it. Category 4 chemical storm incoming. Estimated duration, 18 hours. Shelter advised. Mia cursed under her breath. Her current lean-to wouldn't survive. Neither would she if she stayed. But Shadow, with a grunt and nudge, herded her deeper into the jungle. She followed him, rain already hissing against the canopy above. They trekked for an hour before reaching a narrow crevice between 2 glowing cliffs covered in thick algae. Shadow slid inside first, clearing space with a massive paw. Mia ducked in after him, squeezing through sharp roots and steaming rocks, into a hollow pocket in the cliff. It was warm, dry, protected. He had known. "You've done this before, haven't you?" she whispered. Shadow only blinked and lay down, curling his massive body around the cave's edge, leaving her the dry center. The storm raged for hours. Toxic thunder echoed like explosions. But inside the cave, Mia was dry, safe, and strangely comforted. She even fell asleep against Shadow's side. When the storm cleared, so did the path forward. She had a choice. Stay in the cave and hope rescue miraculously arrived, or keep moving. She chose the latter. They traveled farther than ever before. Days passed. Mia used vines to fashion a makeshift harness for carrying gear on Shadow's back. In return, he led her to fresh water sources and edible fruit groves she'd never seen on Coalition scans. But not everything was getting easier. On day 15, Skeet detected movement. Thermal readings approaching. Multiple bipeds. Not native fauna. Mia's pulse quickened. Coalition. Negative. Uniform energy signatures inconsistent. Potentially hostile. They hid, camouflaged beneath thick leaves, watching the figures pass. Humanoids in red-black armor, armed with ion rifles, dragging a chained beast between them. Slavers, Mia hissed. What the hell are they doing on a red zone world? Skeet replied, possibly seeking rare biological assets for black market trade. Like Shadow, she muttered, gripping her blade. Later that night, they found a camp. Dozens of tents. Enclosures holding captured alien creatures. Some dead, some dying, others drugged and caged. And in the center, a massive reinforced containment field. Inside it, another of Shadow's kind. Smaller, wounded, cowering. Mia felt something shift beside her. Shadow had seen it. His growl wasn't like before. It was deep, primal. Rage and grief rolled off him in waves. She reached for his fur. Hey, we can't just rush in. They'll kill us both. He didn't move. But we will help. I promise. Just not stupidly. For the first time, Shadow looked at her not as a guardian, but as an equal. Together, they planned. Over the next 2 days, Mia mapped guard rotations, hacked comms with Skeet, and set distraction traps. She waited until a supply drop arrived, drawing many of the slavers to the landing zone. Then they moved. Mia cut the fence at the east edge, crawling under with Shadow at her side. She disabled the sensor grid using a bypass Skeet devised, slipped into the central tent, and located the control panel. But the real threat came faster than she expected. A patrol drone hovered in, red light scanning. It spotted her. She darted behind a crate as it fired. A second later, Shadow leapt from the shadows, slamming into the drone midair, tearing through its metal shell. Alarms blared. So much for stealth, she yelled, sprinting to the panel. Fingers flew across controls. The containment field dropped. The second predator collapsed, whimpering. Shadow rushed to its side, nosing gently, helping it rise. Gunfire rattled. Slavers poured in. Shadow snarled and charged. Mia followed, launching stun traps. Explosions rocked the cages. Alien beasts shrieked as barriers fell. It was chaos, and she thrived in it. By sunrise, the camp was rubble. Slavers fled or unconscious. Drones fried. Cages empty. Shadow's kind, now identified as Velcaris by Skeet, had scattered into the jungle. Mia stood amid the wreckage, bloodied but upright. Shadow padded over to her, flanked by the other Velcaris. She knelt. Go. Be free. I'll be okay. He nudged her hand, growled gently, then sat down. So did the others. All of them. Oh no, she whispered. You've got to be kidding me. Skeet confirmed it. Velcaris exhibit a rare social imprinting behavior. You are now alpha of the pack. She stared at them. 5 massive apex predators, looking at her like pups awaiting orders. This is going to be complicated. Shadow wagged his thick, bladed tail. As they moved deeper into the jungle, now with a full pack, Mia noticed something else. Her movements were sharper, her instincts more honed. She no longer hesitated to kill, to lead, to adapt. She had changed, evolved, and the jungle? It no longer scared her. It respected her. But somewhere in the shadows, another figure watched. Coalition command. Reyes survived, the operative whispered into a hidden mic, and she's not alone. We have a situation developing. The response crackled back. Then initiate contingency protocol. Asset retrieval, at any cost. Because Mia Reyes wasn't just surviving anymore. She was building a kingdom. And Viral, 9 was hers. The first warning came with the silence. Viral, 9 was never quiet. Even in sleep, the jungle breathed, groaned, growled. But now, as Mia crouched beside a stream, sharpening her scavenged blade, the birdsong stopped. The air held its breath. Skeet buzzed in her ear. EM signatures rising. Atmospheric pressure shift detected. Human engineered. She stood slowly. Shadow and the rest of the Velcaris were already alert, hackles up, eyes scanning the trees. The attack hit before she could move. A pulse wave slammed into her, knocking her off her feet. The ground cratered where the blast struck. Trees exploded in splinters. The Velcaris scattered, circling the clearing. A coalition dropship roared overhead, sleek and black, its logo unmistakable. They were here. Not to rescue, to retrieve. Mia barely had time to grab her gear before a squad of exo-armored soldiers descended in repulsor boots. Plasma rifles raised. Faces hidden behind faceted visors. Private First Class Mia Reyes. One barked, voice amplified. You are in possession of classified biological assets. Stand down. She spat blood, rising to her feet. They're not assets, they're my pack. Another soldier stepped forward. By Coalition Article 67 Alpha, all Apex-level fauna discovered in red zones are government property. You will comply. Shadow stepped between her and the soldiers, a low rumble vibrating the earth. If you touch him, she growled, you'll find out why this planet made me its queen. The lead soldier nodded. Very well. Non-compliant target. Engage. Gunfire erupted. Mia dived sideways as plasma bolts tore through the air. Shadow leapt, slamming one soldier to the ground. The pack surged from the jungle, overwhelming the coalition squad. But the dropship wasn't done. It deployed drones. Sleek. Armed. Deadly. One targeted Mia. Skeet screamed warnings as it locked on. She flipped her blade, sprinted toward a fallen trunk and vaulted. The drone fired. She twisted midair, landing hard. The bolt grazed her arm, searing flesh. But she landed in front of a crate. Their weapon cache. She grabbed a shock grenade, yanked the pin, and rolled it under the drone. Boom. It dropped in a smoking heap. Behind her, the battle raged. Velcaris leapt onto armored soldiers. Coalition tech tried to compensate, but Mia had taught her pack to fight as a unit. Fluid. Relentless. One by one, the soldiers fell. But so did a Velcaris. Mia saw it happen. A young one. Hit in the chest. It let out a cry and collapsed. Shadow roared like the sky was splitting. He went berserk. Nothing in armor could stop him. He charged the final soldier and flung him into a tree hard enough to dent the exosuit. Mia limped to the downed Velcaris. The pulse rifle blast had burned deep. She pressed a med patch over the wound. Hold on. You're not dying today. Not on my watch. The creature whimpered, but stayed still. The jungle was a mess of smoke, blood, and broken tech. Mia surveyed the battlefield. Bodies scattered. Drones deactivated. Dropship disabled by vines that had grown through its thrusters. Thanks to the spores Shadow had led her to earlier. Viral. 9 itself had joined the war. The wounded Velcaris would live. So would she. Skeet buzzed. Incoming comm signal. Unauthorized. Scrambled origin. Mia raised an eyebrow. Play it. A distorted voice filled the air. Impressive, Reyes. You've done more in 3 weeks than our labs did in 10 years. You bonded with them. Led them. Became something more. Who is this? She demanded. Let's just say, the coalition has taken notice. And not all of us agree with the current leadership. Static. End of message. She spent the next few days salvaging parts from the destroyed dropship. Skeet upgraded his core processor. The Velcaris learned to help erect defenses around their new camp. Mia no longer hoped for rescue. She was done waiting for orders. She was the order. Shadow sat beside her at the edge of a new cliff clearing, where the wind blew clean and stars blinked overhead. The pack rested behind them, safe. Finally. You know, she whispered, scratching his neck. They thought I'd die here. Alone. Shadow huffed. But now I've got a family. A purpose. A war coming, probably. She smiled. Let them come. Somewhere beyond Viral 9, in polished offices and sterile war rooms, her name now echoed like a ghost story. A human who tamed Death World predators. A recruit turned rogue commander. The coalition had sent her to die. Instead, Mia Reyes became legend.